It's a bit bloody blowy, so I don't know if you can hear me, but it's Wildlife Wednesdays, and this week we're going to be talking about owls. So there are 5 resident owl species in the UK. That is the tawny owl, the barn owl, the little owl, the long-eared owl and the short-eared owl. Now there are concerns about eagle owls that are starting to breed in England. The ornithologists, the bird people, are currently looking into it to see if it's actually going to cause any problems or not. But there are a few of them about. The first up is the tawny owl. It's a native owl, it's the most common owl. You'll find it in the woodlands, in parks, sometimes in people's gardens. It's mainly a nocturnal owl, so you probably will hear it more than you'll see it. Next is the barn owl, another native, an iconic bird, mainly on farmlands and on rough grasslands. It hunts in the evenings around dusk, and you'll see it flying up and down sort of hedgerows and things like that. Next is the little owl. Now this was introduced back in the 19th century, but now it's quite a common farmland bird, and it actually hunts in the daytime, so that's pretty cool. Next is the long-eared owl. That's another native, but it's a very secretive bird, hiding in sort of thick conifers and scrub. So if you do see a long-eared owl, you're very lucky. And then lastly is the short-eared owl, which hunts around moorlands and marshes and things like that. So owls are remarkable birds, and they are built to hunt. First of all, their eyesight is bloody brilliant. It's about 35 times better night vision than humans. That's not just because they've got big eyeballs, but because they've got this amazing mirror-like layer behind their retina that ducks that reflects. It's called a tapetum lucidum, and it reflects the light back through the photoreceptors. So when you see animals at night and you shine a light on them and they got that eye shine, that's what's doing it. It's that tapetum lucidum. Yeah, I'm going to do a whole video on that one day because it is bloody amazing. Yeah, so it's not just because of that, it's also because owls' eyes have got a higher ratio between the rods and cones. Right, so just a bit of a side note, just a basic explanation of how the eye works. Right, inside the back of the eye on the retina, you've got 2 types of photoreceptive cells. One's called cones and one's called rods. Now they're called them that because that's what they look like. One looks like a rod and one looks like a bit of a cone. Now rods are the ones that detect movement in low light. Alright, so that's all they can really do. Now I'm proper simplifying this, but that's basically what they do. They detect the difference between light and dark. Alright, now cones, they are the ones, when you've got a bit more light, they are the ones that detect all the different colours. Now we humans, we've got about 20 rods to 1 cone cell. Alright, owls have got 30 to 1, so they probably can't see colour that well, but they can really detect motion in low light. However, we have got about a 200-degree vision. Owls have got about half of that. They've got what they call binocular vision. They've only got about a 100-degree view. Alright, so it's basically a bit like us doing that. They also can't move their eyes in their eyeball socket. So they have to move their heads, which gives that whole famous thing about owls being able to move their heads all the way around. Can owls move their heads all the way around? Well, that depends. So say you're standing here like this, right, and you're facing forward, and that's your starting point. If you kept your body still and only moved your head, if you didn't have any neck problems, turn it as far as you can to the right, you could probably only get to about 90 degrees, to about where your shoulder is. Alright? But if your starting point is already to the other side, to this side, then you can turn your head 180 degrees. Same like the owls, right? If they got their head facing forward and that's their starting point, and then they try to turn it round like that, they can go pretty far. They can go past their shoulder, past their spine, and all the way around to reach the other shoulder. But that's not all the way around. Okay, that's their limit. But if their starting point was already to the back, then they could turn it from there all the way around here all the way past the front and all the way around to the back again. So it depends on where their starting point is as to whether they can turn the head all the way around. There you go. So that's owls' eyesight, and as good as it is, they're actually far-sighted. So when they get close to their prey, their eyesight ain't that good at all, really. So then they have to rely on, arguably, the most important thing for them is their hearing. So our ears are obviously quite noticeable, sort of flappy bits on the side of our head, and all these sort of like grooves are meant to direct the noise into the ear hole. Owls, they don't have flappy bits on the side of their head, they just have a hole. But you can't see them because they're covered by feathers. So that big flat round facial disc of feathers acts as like a satellite dish, and that directs the sound from their face into their ear holes. And what makes their ears even more specialised is that they're asymmetrical. One sits a bit slightly higher than the other, and what that does is that it makes the sound reach them at a fractionally different time. The owl's brain then compares that fractionally different timing to be able to pinpoint its prey with absolute accuracy. Barn owls in particular can actually detect their prey in the middle of deep winter underneath the snow just by its hearing alone. So believe it or not, winter is one of the better times to see owls, mainly because obviously all the leaves aren't in the trees, and also because the rodents in the winter have to come out more in the day to find the food, and therefore the owls are flying about more in the daytime to catch its prey. Now I will say, obviously owls are elusive, you're not going to see them flying about everywhere, but if you're in the right time and in the right place, and if you're very lucky, you might spot an owl this winter. If you do, let me know, I'll be interested to see where you see it. And until next time, ta-ta!